The 154th Open Championship. Royal Birkdale. The greatest golfers on the planet are descending on the Southport coast. The field is almost set. The drama is building. But there's one spot left. Just one. And the way it's going to be decided is unlike anything golf has ever seen. 12 players. 18 holes. One golden ticket. For the first time in the 166-year history of the Open Championship, the R&A has created something called the Last-Chance Qualifier. A winner-take-all shootout, 3 days before the tournament begins, to determine the final man in the field. Think about that. 156 players will tee it up at Birkdale. But the last one won't be decided by world ranking, won't be decided by past champions' exemptions, won't even be decided by the grueling 36-hole final qualifying that 288 players just survived. No, this final spot comes down to 12 heartbroken souls, all of whom came so close and fell just short, fighting it out over 18 holes on Monday morning. It's golf's version of a gladiator arena. One round. One winner. Everyone else goes home. And here's the twist. The players in this field aren't just random faces. They're the ones who missed out by a single shot. They're the ones who lost playoffs. They're the ones who tied but lost on tiebreakers. This isn't a charity event. It's a desperation play. A second chance for the hardest luck cases in golf. So who gets in? How does it work? And why is the R&A doing this now? This is the story of the Last-Chance Qualifier, the most dramatic addition to the Open Championship in decades. What is the Last-Chance Qualifier? Golf's new gladiator arena. The Last-Chance Qualifier is exactly what it sounds like. It's the final opportunity for any golfer to earn a spot in the 2026 Open Championship at Royal Birkdale. But let's be clear, this isn't just another qualifying event. This is a carefully constructed, high-stakes, winner-take-all showdown designed to inject maximum drama into the week of golf's oldest major. The concept is simple. 12 players will tee off on Monday, July 13, just 3 days before the Open begins at Royal Birkdale itself. They will play 18 holes of stroke play. The lowest score wins. If there's a tie after 18 holes, they go to a playoff. One player walks away with the final spot in the 156-man field. 11 players walk away empty-handed. It starts early. The first groups tee off at 7:30 a.m. local time. That's 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time for our American viewers. 4 groups, all going off between 7:30 and 8:03 a.m. By early afternoon, we'll know who earned the final ticket to the biggest show in golf. Now, you might be asking yourself, why 12 players? Why not more? Why not a full field qualifier? The answer is deliberate. The R&A wants this to be exclusive. They want it to be dramatic. They want it to be a showcase for the players who came heartbreakingly close to qualifying through traditional methods. It's a curated field, not an open free-for-all. The event was first announced in December 2025, and the R&A was explicit about their intentions. Johnny Cole Hamilton, the Chief Championships Officer at the R&A, put it this way: the Last-Chance Qualifier will provide fans with the opportunity to watch high-quality, competitive golf which will generate drama and intrigue as players compete to earn the final place in the championship. Translation: they want early week excitement. They want something to talk about before the first ball is struck in the championship proper. And let's be honest, they're giving us exactly that. But here's what makes this truly compelling. The Last-Chance Qualifier is not replacing anything. It's adding a new layer to an already grueling qualifying process. Let's put this in perspective. To even be considered for this 12-player field, a golfer has already been through the ringer. The traditional path to the Open is brutal. This year, 2,073 players entered regional qualifying across 16 venues in Great Britain and Ireland. Only 124 of them advanced to final qualifying. Then, on June 30th, 288 players teed it up across 4 sites: Burnham and Barrow, Dundonald Links, Royal Cinque Ports, and West Lancashire, fighting over 36 holes for just 20 spots. 5 spots per site. That's it. The odds are stacked astronomically. The Last-Chance Qualifier is the safety net for those who fell just short of that cut. It's the consolation prize that can turn heartbreak into triumph. And it's brilliant. Think about the narrative. A player who missed out on final qualifying by 1 shot, then watches the Last-Chance Qualifier, goes out on Monday morning, shoots a career round, and suddenly he's standing on the first tee at the Open on Thursday. It's the stuff of sports movies. The road to qualifying, the grind before the grind. To understand why the last chance qualifier matters, you have to understand just how difficult it is to qualify for the Open Championship in the first place. This isn't like other majors where the field is mostly stacked with top-ranked players and a few token qualifiers. The Open has always prided itself on being the people's major, the one where anyone with a dream and a handicap can theoretically earn a spot. But that dream comes with a cost. The qualifying process for the 2026 Open at Royal Birkdale is a multi-stage marathon that starts months before the championship. It begins with regional qualifying 18-hole events held at 16 venues across Great Britain and Ireland on June 22nd. This year, 2,073 players entered. That's right, over 2,000 golfers, ranging from club pros to young amateurs to grizzled veterans, all chasing the same dream. From those 2,073 players, only 124 advanced to final qualifying. That's a less than 6% success rate. Most of those players had their dreams crushed in a single round. One bad swing, one missed putt, and it's over. No second chances. Then comes final qualifying, what some have called the British version of golf's longest day. On June 30th, 288 players teed it up across 4 sites: Burnham and Barrow in England, Dundonald Links in Scotland, Royal Cinque Ports in England, and West Lancashire in England. Each site had roughly 70 players. Each site offered just 5 spots in the Open. Let that sink in. 288 players. 20 spots. That's a success rate of just under 7%. And these aren't weekend hackers. The fields at final qualifying are stacked with recognizable names. At West Lancashire, you had Sergio Garcia and Danny Willett, both major champions, fighting for their lives alongside YouTube golf stars Wesley and George Bryan. At Dundonald Links, you had Cameron Davis, Carlos Ortiz, and even Dustin Johnson, who withdrew before the event ended. At Burnham and Barrow, Sahit Theegala, Mark Leishman, and Anibun Lahir were all in the mix. At Royal Cinque Ports, Thomas Detry, Dean Burmester, and Brandon Grace were grinding it out, and when it was all over, only 20 names were added to the Open field. The field currently sits at 134 players. Some spots will still be filled at the Genesis Scottish Open, where the top 3 finishers not already exempt will earn their place. But the last chance qualifier is where the final, dramatic, winner-take-all spot will be decided. Now, imagine you're one of the players who finished 1 shot short at final qualifying. Imagine you lost a playoff that would have sent you to Birkdale. Imagine you tied for a qualifying spot but lost on a tiebreaker. You've already survived regional qualifying. You've played 36 holes of grueling golf. You've come within a whisker of the Open. And then you get the call. You've been invited to the last chance qualifier. That's the story of this event. It's a collection of the most heartbreaking near misses in golf, all gathered in one place, with one last chance to rewrite their fate. Chapter heading: Who is in the field? The 12 Gladiators. So who are the 12 players who will tee it up at Royal Birkdale on July 13th? The full list hasn't been announced yet, but the R&A has published clear criteria for how the field will be selected, and the names are starting to emerge. The eligibility system is tiered. The R&A will fill the 12 spots in order of priority, and each category must be fully exhausted before moving to the next. Let's break down exactly who gets in. Category 1. World Ranking Elite. The first 2 spots go to the leading non-exempt players in the official World Golf Ranking as of Monday, July 6th. These are players who are high enough in the rankings to be knocking on the door, but haven't yet secured an exemption through the usual channels. If you're ranked, say, 60th and you're not already in the field, you're probably going to get one of these spots. Category 2. The Amateur Heartbreak. The third spot goes to the runner-up of the Amateur Championship, provided that player is still an amateur on July 13th. We already know who that is: Matt Mulley. He's got a spot reserved if he stays amateur. This is huge for Mulley. He came so close to winning the Amateur Championship, and now he has a direct path to the Open. Category 3. The Playoff Losers. The fourth category is for players who missed out at final qualifying because they lost a playoff. This is the most heartbreaking group of all. Imagine playing 36 holes, tying for the 5th and final qualifying spot, and then losing in a sudden death playoff. It's a gut-wrenching way to miss out. And one of the players in this category is already confirmed: England's Sam Easterbrook, who lost a playoff at West Lancashire. Category 4. The One-Shot Wonders. The fifth category is for players who finished just one position behind those who secured a place at final qualifying. These are the players who finished 6th at their qualifying site, one agonizing spot out. A single shot, maybe a single putt, separated them from Birkdale. The R&A has already identified 9 players in this category: Fraser Jones, Marcus Helikilder, Brandon Robinson-Thompson, Andrew Wilson, Connor Graham, an amateur, Angel Hidalgo, John Vogelpohl, and John Goff. The tiebreaker victims. The final category is for players who tied for a qualifying place in Open qualifying series events, excluding the Genesis Scottish Open, but lost out because of their lower world ranking or a playoff loss. This is the most complex category, and it's designed to catch players who thought they had qualified but got squeezed out by the rankings. If there are still spots available after these 5 categories, the R&A will fill them by going back to the top of the list until the field of 12 is complete. A reserve list will be maintained in the same order, in case any player withdraws before the event. Here's what you need to know. This isn't just a random collection of golfers. This is a curated field of the most deserving, most heartbroken, most determined players in the world. Every single one of them has a story. Every single one of them has come close. And every single one of them has one final shot. The Last-Chance Qualifier is golf's version of a second chance. And the 12 players who stand on the first tee on July 13th will know exactly what's at stake: the chance to walk the fairways of Royal Birkdale in the 154th Open Championship. The drama: 1 round, 1 spot, everything on the line. Let's paint the picture. Monday, July 13th. Royal Birkdale. The sun is just coming up over the Southport coast. The wind is whipping off the Irish Sea. The course is in championship condition, the rough is deep, the fairways are fast, and the bunkers are waiting to swallow a bad swing. 12 players walk to the first tee. Each one of them has already been through hell to get here. Regional qualifying, final qualifying, playoff losses, tiebreaker heartbreaks. They've all had their dreams crushed, and now they've been offered one more chance. But here's the catch: only one of them will walk away with a spot in the Open. The format is 18 holes of stroke play. That's it. No cut, no safety net. You're either the low score, or you're going home. And if there's a tie after 18 holes, they go to a playoff sudden death, hole by hole, until someone cracks. Think about the pressure. Every shot matters. A 3-putt on the second green could be the difference between glory and heartbreak. A bad bounce off a bunker lip could end your dream. A missed short putt on the 18th hole could haunt you forever. And here's another layer of intrigue. The first 2 reserves for the Open will be competing in this event. That means 2 players who are already effectively in the field as alternates will also be playing for the last spot. If they win, they get the spot. If they don't, they stay on the reserve list, hoping someone else withdraws before Thursday. It's a bizarre double-edged sword. You're already close to the field, but you're also gambling on the Last-Chance Qualifier to get you all the way in. The R&A has also thought through the logistics carefully. The event starts early to ensure it's completed in time. The players will tee off in 4 groups between 7:30 and 8:03 a.m. By late morning, it should be over. The champion of the Last-Chance Qualifier will have a few days to prepare, to practice, to rest, to mentally reset before the biggest event of his life. And let's talk about the crowd. Royal Birkdale is a public course, and the local community has already been involved in controversy over the R&AS expansion plans. More on that later. But for the Last-Chance Qualifier, the fans will be there. They'll see something special, a one-off, winner-take-all shootout that has never happened in Open history. This is the kind of event that creates legends. A player who was 1 shot out of final qualifying, who had his heart broken, who could have packed up and gone home, but instead, he tees it up one more time, shoots a low round, and suddenly he's standing on the first tee on Thursday, playing alongside the best players in the world. It's the stuff of dreams. And it's exactly why the R&A created this event. The controversy behind the qualifier. Why now? The controversy behind the qualifier. The Last-Chance Qualifier sounds like a great idea: drama, excitement, a second chance for the hard luck cases. But if you dig a little deeper, you start to wonder, why is the R&A doing this now? And what does it say about the state of the Open Championship? The official line is that the Last-Chance Qualifier is part of a series of enhancements intended to elevate the experience of attending the Open. The R&A wants drama and intrigue early in the week. They want fans to have something to watch before the championship proper begins. And that's fair. But there's another layer to this story, one that's far less charitable to the R&A. Now, add the Last-Chance Qualifier to the mix. Is this a genuine effort to enhance the fan experience? Or is it a distraction, a way for the R&A to generate positive headlines and overshadow the land dispute that has divided the local community? There's also the question of the Open itself. The exodus of former champions from Birkdale, Zach Johnson, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Ernie Els, John Daly, and others has been a massive story. The legends are walking away. The R&A needs something to keep the spotlight on the tournament. The Last-Chance Qualifier, with its gladiatorial drama and human interest stories, is a perfect narrative tool. But let's give credit where it's due. The Last-Chance Qualifier is a genuinely compelling addition to the Open. It gives the hard luck cases, the Sam Easterbrooks, the Angel Hidalgos, the players who came within a whisker of qualifying, one final shot at glory. It's a second chance that doesn't exist in any other major. And maybe that's the point. The Open has always prided itself on being the people's major, the one where anyone can dream. The Last-Chance Qualifier is an extension of that ethos. It's the R&A saying, "We see you. We know you came close. Here's one more opportunity." Whether that's enough to restore faith in the institution is another question. But for one Monday morning in July, 12 players will stand on the first tee at Royal Birkdale with everything on the line. And one of them will walk away with the final spot in the 154th Open Championship. That's drama. That's sport. And that's the Last-Chance Qualifier.